Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you very much for joining us today. I'd like to seek your good wishes and kind blessings so that we can say some things to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead and also at the same time purify our own existence. Today we wanted to talk about three glorious devotees of roughly the era of Lord Chaitanya. They departed, one of them departed today, hundreds of years ago, and his name is Syamananda Prabhu. And yesterday, two great souls departed, Mukund Datta and Sridhar Pandit. So we wanted to, it's always good when a great soul arrives in this world and then goes back to the spiritual world, to remember them specially. Firstly, we get their blessings. Blessings of the Vaishnavas, the devotees, are actually fundamental to our spiritual progress. If we have the blessings of the Vaishnavas, then the blessings of Krishna are automatically there. If we don't have their blessings, then it's very, very difficult to please Krishna. In fact, it's impossible because Krishna is Bhaktavatsal. He's dependent on his devotees, and we depend on his devotees as well. So, and also from looking at their lives in brief, we'll never understand these devotees because they're transcendental, but we can get a little idea of how they serve the Lord, and we can at the same time learn from their lives and imbibe their values into our bhakti. In that way, we will again please the Lord very much, because one of the favorable things in devotional service is to follow in the footsteps of the devotees. So it will help us in our bhakti very much. So let's start with, I got the wrong, no, I haven't. Good. So Syamananda Prabhu, actually I should have had a verse for him, but anyway, never mind. Syamananda Prabhu, just as a summary, he was a wonderful devotee of Lord Chaitanya, and he appeared just after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left, I think 1534. So yeah, just after he left. And he had, he teamed up with two other great souls, Srinivasacharya. That's not the same as Srivas Thakur. Srivas Thakur is one of the Panchatattva. But Srinivas is, again, he's come just after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Narottam Das Thakur. These three devotees together, they did a great deal for the Sankirtan movement. And we'll see a little bit later what I mean by that. And so let's have a look at Syamananda Prabhu. He came to this world in West Bengal, about 20 kilometers away from Navadvip, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birth was, appearance was, in 1934. And he came in the house family of Sri Krishna Mandal and Srimati Durika Devi. Now, they actually lost many sons and daughters before his appearance. So to ward off inauspiciousness, they called him Dukhi. Dukhi means unhappy. So they called him Dukhi because they didn't want to lose him as well. So they thought, let's rename him Dukhi. And actually his appearance was, the stars were really amazing at that time. And it was predicted that he is a great soul who's come to preach the glories of the Supreme Lord. And he was extraordinarily intelligent. He mastered the scriptures and the science of Sanskrit grammar very quickly. But when he heard about the glories of Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya from the devotees, because it wasn't long after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had left, he developed a great attachment to serve them, to serve their lotus feet. And initially, his father was very resistant on the child taking this route, spiritual route. But Dukhi was so adamant that his father gave him the blessings, because he also had heard about a guru called Hidayat Chaitanya, and he wanted to take Diksha from this guru. So his father gave him blessings. He went to this place called Ambika Kalna, where his guru resided. And Hidayat Chaitanya is actually a disciple of Gauri Das Pandit. Gauri Das Pandit was direct associate of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and one day we'll see a little bit more about his particular life. He's a very interesting devotee personality. So he came to Hidayat Chaitanya at Ambika, and he served him, and he showed his enthusiasm to perform bhakti. And Hidayat Chaitanya was very pleased with him, gave him initiation, called him Krishna Das, Dukhi Krishna Das, really unusual name. And he saw that this devotee is very intelligent, and he can grasp the concepts of Krishna consciousness very quickly, and he was very eager to serve. So he instructed him to go to Vrindavan and study under a great Vaishnava, Jiva Goswami, one of the 6 Goswamis. Now, Dukhi Krishna, he actually set out for Vrindavan. But before going there, he went to Mayapur because he wanted to get the blessings of Lord Chaitanya. He met one of the servants of Lord Chaitanya and his father, Jagannath Mishra. His name is Ishan, who was quite elderly at that time, a wonderful devotee, got his blessings. Then he went to Gaya to get darshan of Lord Vishnu. In Gaya, there's a phenomenal temple of Lord Vishnu. And in Gaya, the Pindan ceremony is done for our previous ancestors. Then he went to Kashi to take the blessings of many of the Vaishnavas who live in there, in that holy place, Chandrasekhar, Tapan Mishra, and many others actually. In this way, he showed how it is important to get blessings of the great devotees. Very, very important. So under the care, he eventually found Mathura, and he went to Vrindavan. He sought out where Jiva Goswami was, because at that time they didn't have GPS or iPhones, so it was quite a task. But he found Jiva Goswami, and Jiva Goswami by that time already found out that Hidayat Chaitanya had sent Dukhi Krishna to him. So he was expecting him. And at that same time, he met Srinivasacharya and Narottam Das. And together they performed devotional service. They were all scholars. They were all very enthusiastic. And Jiva Goswami is one of the greatest scholars. So they all were under his tutelage. And he taught them incredible amount. Jiva Goswami is the author of many, many books. And these books form the basis of much of our philosophy. They are in addition to the Srimad Bhagavad Puran and in addition to the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So these works are very good because they explain those scriptures. So the service mood of all of these 3 personalities was great. The service that was allocated to Dukhi Krishna was one of sweeping the groves of Sevakunj. Sevakunj in Vrindavan, devotees will have been there. It's where Radha and Krishna meet every evening, every night to perform their pastimes. And at that time, nobody is present apart from the divine couple. So the duty of Dukhi Krishna was to sweep the path of Sevakunj, make it clean. And actually, Radha and Krishna became very pleased with him. Although they didn't manifest themselves to him, they became very pleased by his service. He had other services. He would bring water pots from the well there as well. But his principal services, I believe, was the sweeping. So what happened was one day he found an incredible ankle bell Yeah, in the bushes, that's right. And it shone and it was transcendent. He touched it and he became ecstatic. And he knew that this is something very, very special. He, of course, Sevakunj is a place where it's known, very well known, that Radha and Krishna perform their pastimes. So he was thinking, this is something unique. So he kept it very safe. And actually what happened was a young maiden came. Actually, she was disguised. Some say as an elderly person, but let's go with the young maiden. And she looked very beautiful. She came to Dukhi Krishna and said to him, "Hey, did you find anything? Something's gone missing. We're looking for it." Because Radharani had told Vishaka that I've lost my ankle bell and I think it's in Sevakunj. So Vishaka said, okay, I'll go and find it and I'll bring it back. So Dukhi Krishna is very gentle. This is the nice diagram which shows drawing a picture which shows painting which shows Dukhi Krishna looking, finding this incredible Chintamani stone which he treasured and kept safe. And he said, yes, I did find something very, very special. So Vishaka then explained that actually it belongs to our dear Sakhi, and we would be very grateful if you can return it. But Dukhi Krishna, he was very clever. He said, yes, of course I can return it, but actually I would like to return it to the Sakhi herself. And in this way, they argued to and fro. Vishaka would say, actually, she's very busy. And Dukhi Krishna would say, I don't mind waiting. No problem. I can wait as long as you like. Because he knew this was something very special. He could see the specialness of this maiden in front of him anyway. So he held out. So Vishaka went back and said, just wait for a while. And she explained to Radharani, and Radharani was very pleased with Dukhi Krishna. So she personally came. She personally came, and in front of him, he saw her. He went into an ecstatic trance. He knew that this is somebody extraordinarily special. And Radharani became so pleased with this Dukhi Krishna that she placed the ankle bell on his forehead, and by doing that, she actually made a mark of tilak, special mark on his forehead. And they would later on try to, wash the tilak off for some reason, but it would always come back. It's a transcendental mark that was placed on his forehead by Srimati Radharani herself. And she also gave him the name of Syamananda. Shyam means Krishna and Ananda means happy. One who makes Krishna happy. Because he's made Krishna and he's made Radha happy. So she changed his name from Dukhi Krishna to Syamananda. And this is a wonderful painting that gives an idea of what happened. And this is the tilak. It's a little bit different from the tilak that we wear. We wear, these two lines are there, two vertical lines. And we have a lotus leaf here, a tulsi leaf. And this is the tilak that Syamananda had, which Radharani placed on him. And that to this day, those who follow in the line of Syamananda keep that same tilak. It's very, very fascinating. So Dukhi Krishna, or Syamananda, was extremely overjoyed. He came out of his trance. He remembered everything. And when he came back to the ashram of Jiva Goswami, all the devotees would ask him, hey, what is this new tilak you've got? But he couldn't say anything. He revealed everything to Jiva Goswami, who was very pleased with this wonderful shiksha of his. But the guru of Syamananda, he found out what had happened, that somehow Syamananda is wearing a different tilak, he's changed his name. He wasn't particularly happy. He came to Vrindavan and he chastised Syamananda. He was actually quite heavy on him. What are you doing? What is this tilak? And why have you changed? What is this name that you've got? But Syamananda, he was in his heart, he had not been unfaithful to his guru. He was completely loyal to his gurus. But he remained silent. He didn't want to argue. Although he felt sad at being chastised. So at night, when they were sleeping, Radharani actually came in the dream of Hridaya Chaitanya and said to him that this tilak I have given to your disciple because he has pleased Krishna. So please don't be upset with him. And I also gave him this name, Syamananda, because he has pleased my dear Lord. So he is a wonderful associate of the Lord. So Hridaya Chaitanya was very sorry actually. And he, in the morning, he went and hugged Syamananda and everything was okay again. So soon after that incident, Jiva Goswami asked Syamananda and Narottam Das Thakur and Srinivas to go on a preaching tour with the books of the Goswamis. And there was a lot of books, the Satsambars, the Bhagavad Brihat Amrita, all the Brihat Amrita, all the different books that had been written by the Goswamis. And they wrote a lot of literature. So they were given charge of this literature to take it to Bengal and Orissa, because there, after the departure of Chaitanya and especially the departure of Janavadevi, the preaching had somewhat reduced, although she was still present there at that time. But Jiva Goswami wanted to increase the preaching presence in Bengal and Orissa. But on the way, unfortunately, these scriptures were stolen by a king, and that's a whole pastime in its own, which we won't go into today, because what happened was Srinivasacharya, he stayed behind and he recovered those scriptures in a really amazing way, and he got all of the king and the king's men to become also devotees of the Lord. But we won't go into that. Syamananda went to his guru's ashram again, Ambika Kalna, and there he served Hridaya Chaitanya for some time, who then also asked him to go to Orissa to continue with the preaching work. And whilst preaching, he initiated many people actually, and especially he would go to every village, and they would be very enamored by this incredible devotee. They would submit to the Supreme Lord and they would take initiation from him and begin their spiritual lives. And especially there was one devotee called Rasikanandan, who was a very, very intelligent and wonderful devotee who Syamananda initiated. And I don't know if devotees remember, but we were talking last week about Baladev Vidyabhushan. And Baladev Vidyabhushan really saved this Gaudiya Vaishnava movement. And his guru is Radha Damodar, whose guru is this Rasikananda. So you can see the chain from Syamananda to Rasikananda to Radha Damodar to Baladev Vidyabhushan. There's some incredible personalities who have come in the past to keep this bhakti tradition going. Syamananda traveled widely to spread the holy names of the Lord. He also attended the grand festival of Keturi, where he again met Srinivas and Narottam. That's where Janavadevi, some of you may recall, inaugurated the first Gopunim festival of Lord Chaitanya. And his samadhi is in Kanapur in Orissa, which is worshipped today. So this is the pastime of Syamananda. A lot to learn from his activities, especially his sincere service. Sweeping the floor is a very menial task, but he did it with such heart, such carefulness, that he pleased the Lord. We don't have to do incredible seva in order to please the Supreme Lord. Simple service with a pure heart is enough. See if that's come through. So in our devotional life, we also have the same sort of challenges to make sure that whatever service that our spiritual master gives us or the devotees ask us to do, we do it with pure heart, with enthusiasm. It may be the most menial of tasks, but if we consider that devotional service, no matter what service it is on the same level, whether we are on the altar doing the arti or in the toilet cleaning the loos, on the spiritual platform, it's the same sort of, it's devotional service. It's at the same level. But if somebody is doing the arti in the temple, on the altar, thinking, hey, I'm a great pujari, instead of thinking, my dear Lord, I am your menial servant. But the one in the toilet is cleaning the toilet thinking, I am no good for anything else except cleaning this toilet, and I will do it to the best of my ability for the pleasure of the Lord. Then who is the better amongst the two? So it all depends on our service attitude, service mood. If we get our service mood right and please Krishna, then we've achieved the goal of our life. If we do amazing things but not please Krishna, then we may not have achieved too much. So that's one of the most important lessons to learn from Syamananda's life, how he pleased the Lord by his menial service. So it's very, very nice to understand that the Lord, he's happy with our service no matter what it is. So if a spiritual master gives us a service, or the devotees give us a service, then we do it with proper heart. Hope that's okay. And if there's any questions, please do ask. Otherwise, I'll just carry on. The next personality we want to talk about is Mukund Datta. And he's described, he's actually an associate of Lord Chaitanya during the time of Lord Chaitanya. And he's described in the Adi Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita, 10th chapter, 40th verse. And we can say this together. Shri Mukunda Datta Sakha Prabhu Samadhyayi Yanhara Kirtane Nache Chaitanya Gosai.
Mukunda Datta, a class friend of Lord Chaitanya's, was another branch of the Chaitanya tree. Lord Chaitanya danced while he sang.
Can you imagine this? Lord Chaitanya danced while he sang. What an amazing devotee. So this is a verse from the Gaura Ganodesha Dipika. In Braj, there are two very nice singers named Madhukanta and Madhuvrata. They appeared in Chaitanya Leela as Mukunda and Vasudev Ghosh. So this is he's an associate of Krishna from Golok, and is incarnated as Mukunda Datta. He had a melodious voice. He knew the intricacies of the musical meters and the ragas. His sweet kirtan would please all the Vaishnavas in Navadvip. And he was tuned into Lord Gauranga's heart. So he could sing according to Lord Gauranga's feelings. When they were young, they were classmates. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at that time had a habit of debate. He loved to argue. And he used to put logical arguments or illogical arguments before Mukund Datta and many others as well, especially Gadadhar Pandit. He used to argue with them in one way, and then he would reverse the argument and he would defeat them the other way as well. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very expert at this debating. And actually, if you recall, Gadadhar Pandit used to get really frustrated with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when to advise him, why don't you just become a devotee of Krishna? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would tease him, yeah, one day, one day. Of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was Krishna himself, but these were pastimes that he was enjoying with his devotees. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned from Gaya after taking initiation from Ishwarapuri, he completely changed. His mood was that of a devotee, and he was chanting and he was in ecstasy all the time. Mukund Datta would actually increase that ecstasy by reciting sloks from the Bhagavatam about Krishna Lila, and that would increase the pleasure of Chaitanya. And this we'll talk about a bit later. Mukund Datta, he sang one time, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu danced for 21 hours, and there was a magnificent manifestation of ecstasy called Satapraharya, where they just danced and danced and danced, and so many different visions were had of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Another time, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was revealing his eternal forms to the devotees, for 7 days he did this in the house of Srivas Pandit. He was showing the different devotees his different forms. Devotees of Ramachandra saw Mahaprabhu as Ram. Devotees of Vishnu saw him as Vishnu. Others saw him as Nrsimha. In this way, he would show everybody their desired deity or their Isht Dev. Now, at that time, Mahaprabhu restricted Mukund Prabhu from coming into, and he said to him, I will not give you darshan, I will not show you my form. And there was a reason for this, because Mukund had this habit of listening to others as well, and I'll come into that a little bit later. So Mukund Datta was very hurt by this, and he was crying. He wanted to end his life, and the devotees petitioned Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that Mukund is really upset. He's asked you, when can I see your form? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu answered, after crores of births, that's 10 million births time, you will be able to see me. And when Mukund Datta heard that, he became very happy, and he was dancing. And the devotees were very surprised. What do you mean you're happy? After so many lifetimes, you see Chaitanya in his real form, you should be sad. And he said, no, I'm not sad. I'm happy to tolerate billions of births if I can have Chaitanya's darshan, his real form. So that was relayed back to Lord Chaitanya. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very pleased with Mukund Datta. It shows how sometimes we have this mood, I want to see Krishna now. Or at the end of this life, I want to go back home, back to Godhead. That's sometimes the mood of the devotees. But actually, that may not necessarily be a mood that pleases the Lord. Because our attitude perhaps should be that we will do whatever the Lord wants us to do. We'll serve him no matter what. He may keep us in this world as long as he wants. It doesn't matter. He'll never stop us serving. And we're always praying to him, please give us his strength to serve you, to remember you. Whether that's in the spiritual world with you or whether it's here without you, that's your decision. But just give us the strength to serve you. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became very pleased with him. And he said, now he has already crossed those crores of births. He can come and see me. He can come immediately. So the devotees went to Mukund and they said, Mahaprabhu is happy to come for you to come now. And Mukund would say, oh, but I was supposed to see him after crores of births. How can I go now? If I go now, he may not show me his real form. It may be just an illusion. I don't want to go now. I'll wait. But Mahaprabhu said, no. All those millions of crores of births have gone, and he can come and I will show him. So why was Mahaprabhu upset with him in the first place? Because actually Mukund Datta offended Bhakti Devi. who gives devotion. He would listen to anybody who would talk. So he would place bhakti on the same level as karma yoga, jnana yoga, even Mayavadi philosophy. So if somebody talked that how I can become God, Mukund Datta would entertain them. He listened to them. And actually, what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was instructing by this pastime is we should be very careful, because we should understand that we've come to the highest possible place, which is bhakti. And we should be very focused, one-pointed attention, as Lord Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, that we focus our attention just on bhakti and not worry too much about other mundane topics, which can be talked about with karmis or with jnanis, debating about various philosophical points. Really is not going to help us. And definitely associating with those who think that they can become God is a very dangerous place to be. So we are very fortunate. So this is one of the instructions that we can learn from Mukund Datta's life, how we need to be completely focused on bhakti yoga. Very, very important. Karma yoga, jnana yoga, it may have its place, and some people may be fine where they are. But from our point of view, bhakti, we've attained, let's stick to it and not be diverted in any way. So Mukund Datta then did chastise himself that how foolish he had been. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased with his humility. Mukund Datta also introduced Gadadhar Pandit to Pundarik Vidyanidhi. And when Gadadhar, if you remember, is actually very close to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He's another form of Srimati Radharani, in fact. And one day, Mukunda introduced him, took him to Pundarik's house. And Pundarik was just acting like an ordinary materialist. So Gadadhar was thinking, he's just an ordinary person. But then Mukund could read the mind of Gadadhar. And he spoke a verse from the Bhagavatam, the Srimad Bhagavat Puran. And immediately Pundarik, he went into ecstasy. He had shivers, he was laughing, sometimes he was crying. That mood of the Bhagavatam, that word, brought out great ecstasy in Pundarik. And then Gadadhar realized, this is a great devotee of the Lord. I've made a terrible mistake. And he took initiation from Pundarik. In his previous life, Pundarik was Vrishabhanu, the father of Radharani. So it's very interesting. So a few other things happened. Mukund Datta was very close to Chaitanya. When Chaitanya took sannyas, Mukund Datta was there. Also, before taking sannyas, he was there. He also went to Shantipur after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas with Nityananda and Gadadhar and Chandrasekhar. He also was there when the Lord Nityananda broke the sannyas danda. So he's been witness to a lot of amazing pastimes. And every year they used to go from Bengal to see Lord Chaitanya at Jagannath Puri. And there were many pastimes between Mukund Datta and the devotees and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that's the pastime of Mukund Datta. The learning point there is our focus should be one-pointed. Life is short. Let's make the most of this great opportunity that we've got to progress in Bhakti Yoga. So the next personality we want to talk about is the last personality, is Sridhar Pandit. He disappeared yesterday. And again, he's a very close associate, and his life is really amazing. So he's referred to in the 10th chapter, 67th verse of the Adi Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita. And the sloka goes like this: Kola vicha seva kera dekhe bhagya sima Brahma Shiva Kande Yara Dakhya Mahima Dhane Dhane Patitye Krishna Nahi Pai Kevala Bhakatira Vasa Chaitanya Gosani. Behold the great fortune of the devotee. Oh, sorry. You do it.
Behold the great fortune of the devotee Kolavecha. Lord Brahma and Shiva shed tears upon seeing his greatness. One cannot attain Lord Krishna by any amount of wealth, followers, or learning. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is controlled only by pure devotion.
So, this incredible verse. We're going to talk about somebody who's extraordinarily poor. But Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, they shed tears upon seeing his greatness. So the greatness may not relate to the wealth that one possesses. So let's have a look at this incredible devotee's life. He's one of the 12 Gopas in Krishna Lila, named Kusum Sav. He appeared in Gaura Lila as Sridhar Pandit, and he was given this nickname of Kola Vecha, seller of bark. Is his nickname. Sridhar Pandit is a Brahmin, resident of Mayapur, Navadvip, and he in a place which is now known as Sridhar Angan. He was a business. His way of making a living was to sell bananas and cups made from leaves of plantain trees. His income was very little, but whatever he would get, 50% of it he would spend on the worship of Ganga, which flowed right past his door. And with the other 50%, he somehow maintained himself. And the Lord would go to him and they would have incredible pastimes together. Sometimes the Lord would ask him, why are you so poor? You are worshipping Krishna, who is the husband of Lakshmi. Or you are worshipping Vishnu, who is the husband of Lakshmi. Lakshmi is the goddess of fortune. And you had hardly any money. You are a beggar. Your house has no roof practically. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would tease him like this. But on the other hand, those who worship the devatas, like Kali Mata maybe, Lord Shiva, have so much wealth. So then Sridhar would answer him very nicely. A bird who has made its nest in the trees and wanders from place to place to find food passes the time of day in the same way that a king does in his palace, going from one room to another room. Both are enjoying the objects of sense gratification. They are on the same level. Whether you're a king, whether you're a bird, you're only trying to satisfy your senses. So externally, the Lord would tell him, externally, you appear to be poor, but actually, Sridhar, you're a rich man. So this is quite interesting. Material prosperity and wealth are not the signs of Lord's mercy on someone. Those who worship devatas are generally seen to prosper materially. But one who is rich in the wealth of devotion to the Lord is the one who has truly benefited from his mercy. So very important to understand this. Just because one may be wealthy doesn't necessarily mean that he has achieved the mercy of the Lord. It might be the complete opposite. Now, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches us a lot through Sridhar Pandit's activities. Because a devotee of Vishnu is generally free from attachments to material possessions and enjoyments. That's his wealth. Because his attachment is not to the possessions, but to the Supreme Lord. And that's the wealth. Attachment to possessions or having possessions may be a huge weakness. The example is, in the time of Lord Krishna, there were two devotees who associated with Krishna in some way. There was one, Vidur, who was very poor. Oh, he was poor comparatively anyway. But he had great love for Krishna. One time Krishna accepted his invitation for lunch. He had another option, which was to eat at the palace of Duryodhan, who was actually enemy of Krishna. But he could have enjoyed great palatable food in the palace of Duryodhan. But instead, he picked the place of Vidur. And Vidurani, the wife of Vidur, was peeling the banana to give to Krishna. But she was so engrossed, enamored by Lord Krishna. She gave him the peel and threw away the banana. And Krishna took the peel and he ate the peel. And he said, "This is the most delicious food I've ever eaten." Because it was given by love, with love. Vidurani and Vidur, they loved Krishna so much. Whereas Duryodhan, he had great possessions, but Krishna didn't care for any of that because he had no love for Krishna. So he was really poor. Whereas Vidur appeared poor, but he was very rich in love for Krishna. Okay, so a few things happened. On a famous night, when the Lord was on the altar in Srivas Thakur's house, which we discussed it with Mukund Datta's pastime, and he was revealing his forms to the devotees for 21 hours. So at that time, he called for Sridhar, and the devotees ran to Sridhar, to his house. Sridhar would always be singing the glories of the holy name all night. That would sometimes upset the non-devotees, but the devotees would be happy. He would be constantly chanting the holy names of the Lord. And so the devotees came to him, and they could hear him chanting from a long distance away. They brought him to Srivas, and Lord Chaitanya showed him his divine form of Krishna Balaram, because he's one of the Gopas who used to play with Krishna Balaram in the forest in Gokul. And when Sridhar saw this form of Lord Chaitanya as Krishna Balaram, he fainted. He was really, really amazed. And eventually he was brought back to consciousness. He offered hymns of glorification to the Supreme Lord. And the Lord, being very satisfied with him, said to him, "Sridhar, I'm happy to give you all of the 8 mystic powers as a benediction." And the mystic powers are these: power to become smaller than the smallest, lighter than the lightest, get anything and everything from anywhere and everywhere. What a power that would be, huh? Become heavier than the heaviest, act freely to create something wonderful, or annihilate anything at will. Even you can create a whole planet. There's some yogis who can do this. They have these 8 mystical powers: control the material elements, possess such power as will never be frustrated in any desire, to assume any shape or form one may whimsically desire. But what did Sridhar said? "No, I don't want anything. If you want to give me something, I just want to serve your lotus feet." So this is the poorest man in the world, offered everything by the Lord, yet he rejects everything. Simply says to the Lord, "Let me serve your lotus feet." So this is a really great example for us. Lord Vishwambara repeatedly urged Sridhar to ask for a boon. He finally said, "Lord, if you want to give me something, then I ask for this. May that Brahmin who used to pinch my banana leaves and bark be my Lord lifetime after lifetime. May that Brahmin who used to argue with me be my master, and I serve his lotus feet." No, yeah, that's right. The Brahmin was Chaitanya. So, what's the time? We are out of time. This point is just, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati said, nobody can really recognize the true character of a devotee. It should not be thought that the ability to collect great amounts of money is a function of devotion. Know that somebody who is able to accumulate a great number of followers is a better Vaishnava than somebody who cannot. Furthermore, if someone is a great religious scholar, this does not mean he's a devotee of the Lord. A servant of Sri Chaitanya might have very little money, may show no signs of having a great number of followers, may have no talent for argument or debate, and ordinary people are unable to understand why he is indifferent to these externals. These devotees consider service to Chaitanya to be something more valuable than the accumulation of wealth, followers, or learning. Thus, there is no possibility of the depth of their wisdom, their glories, and their superiority being perceived by the general public. Very interesting. And this is the point to which Sridhar was making, how the Lord sometimes used to come when he was a student. He used to come to Sridhar and he used to fight with him. He used to say to him, give me that banana. I'll take the banana, but I'll give you half the price. And Sridhar was very honest. He would always have this real price. Sometimes you go in the shops and they obviously give you a markup. But he never did. He'd tell you the honest price. And everybody nowadays would know this and never haggle. But Chaitanya would come and haggle with him. He used to fight like anything. And then eventually they came to an agreement that Sridhar would give the Lord some bananas. And the Lord became very pleased with him, and he would eat those bananas with great pleasure, knowing that Sridhar actually is a wonderful devotee of the Lord. And Sridhar never got angry. The Lord would take everything he wanted, and he never got angry. He always allowed him to do whatever he wanted. He was immersed in an ocean of joy by looking at the Lord's beauty and knowing that actually this is somebody very, very special. Every day you buy things to offer to the Ganga. Why don't you just give something to me without charging anything? The Lord would say. Don't you know I am the father of the Ganga that you worship? I am telling you the truth about it. So sometimes the Lord would reveal his identity to Sridhar in these arguments. So this is the pastime of Chaitanya, of Sridhar. One time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was leading the kirtan from Chandakasi's house on the way back to Srivasi's house. And he returned via Sridhar Pandit's house. And then he drank from the Sridhar's own lota, own water pot. He drank the water. Sridhar was mortified. What are you doing, my dear Lord? He became unconscious. This is my water. This is my Dutta pot. I've drank from it. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, this is the most delicious water I've ever drunk. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was showing the example that the devotees, when we drink another devotee's water, actually is nectar. Because the Lord is Bhaktavatsal. He is ever affectionate towards devotees. And tears poured from Gauranga's eyes like the currents of the Ganga. And a wonderful kirtan began in Sridhar's courtyard, in which all the devotees led by Nityananda Dvaita were crying. They did amazing pastimes. And he was a poor little beggar, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave him so much love. So wealth is not important in this world. Bhakti, our heart, is important. Sridhar lived in a house with halls, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would argue with him, why don't you get this repaired? And Sridhar would say, this house is better than a bird's nest, because a bird's nest has no roof at all. And again, Sridhar was present when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was about to take sannyas. He gave him a gift of a karela, a gourd. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knew he couldn't eat this. So he made his mother cook it, and he ate it as well. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had a lot of love for Sridhar. And he used to come every year to Jagannath Puri with the devotees at the time of the Yatra. Just a final thing. This is a comment by Srila Prabhupada. There is a story of Kola Vecha Sridhar, a devotee of Lord Chaitanya, who, although he was a very poor man, gave half his meager income for worshipping Mother Ganga. And by so doing, he greatly pleased the Lord. It is not so much important the quantity of books that we distribute, but that we serve Krishna as best as we can and depend on him for the results. These are the pastimes from these three devotees. So first one, Syamananda, we can learn whatever service we are given, we do it to the best of our ability. From Mukund, we can learn one pointed attention towards bhakti. And from Sridhar, we can understand that our real wealth is our love for God, our devotion to the Lord. And our material possessions, or somebody who has great material possessions may not be very wealthy because they may not have any love for Lord. So if there are any questions or any comments, I'd like to thank you, devotees, for giving us the opportunity to say a few words in glorification of these great, great personalities. If there's any questions or any realizations that you have from your personal life, or you've heard something which you'd like to share, you're welcome to do so.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Priti.
Yeah, thanks for the class. It was very nice. Except, like right at the beginning, you said something about God needs his devotees, and devotees need his devotees. It was just really nice to be thinking, what does God need from us? Because he has everything. And then you think about like, well, love, you know, that doesn't come unconditionally, or it just doesn't come naturally. Like you could love yourself, but then for somebody else to give their love to you, that's like a huge thing. And so it's something which is completely free will, and I guess it could excite anyone to get someone else's love, you know, like wow. So yeah, so when you said that at the beginning, I was thinking, what does God need? You know, what can we give him that he doesn't already have? And that thought just came to mind. Yeah, so it was very nice to hear.
Thank you for sharing that, Priti. You're absolutely spot on. One thing he doesn't possess is our love, and if we can chant with love, then he becomes pleased. Somebody asked me the other day, you know, how, if we're chanting his names, how does he actually please him? It pleases him because we are chanting his names, but especially if we chant it with love. That's what pleases him, because missing that love for us. Thank you, Priti. Nice one. Okay, Karuna, you are there.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Karuna. So, oops. This one. Oh yes, we had a request, Karuna.
Yes.
Now, devotees are so happy that you are chanting this so nicely, and it's so good we are able to do this. There was one request though, just if you can go a little bit slower.
Okay, Prabhu.
So because some devotees are trying to follow, and of course it's not something they're used to. It's not necessarily their language.
Yes.
So just a little bit slower, and
Okay.
but it's so good. I mean, we've been doing it, I don't know, for about 10 weeks now, and I must say, it's such an important part of the satsang. Somebody said to me, they're only waiting for this for the whole hour. So, thank you very much.
Okay. Shri Lakshmi Nrsimha Deva ki jai, Prahlad Maharaj ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Nrsimha kavacham vakshe, Prahladena ditam pura, Sarvaraksha-karam punyam, Sarvopadravanashanam, Sarvasampatkaram chaiva, Svarga-moksha-pradayakam, Gyadva Narasimham Devesham Hema-simhasanastitam, Vivrittasyam Trinayanam Sharad Indu Samaprabham, Lakshmya Lingita Vamangam Vibhutibir Upashritam, चतुर्भुजं कोमलाङ्गं स्वर्णकुण्डलशोभितं श्रिया सुशोभितो रस्कं रत्नकेयूरमुद्रितं तप्तकाञ्चन सङ्काशं पीतनिर्मलवाससम् इन्द्रादिसुरमौलिष्ठा सुरन्माणिक्यदीप्तिभिः विराजितपदध्वन्वं शङ्खचक्रादिहेतिभिः गुरुत्मत्ता च विनयात् क्रियमाणं मुदान्वितं स्वरितकमलसंवासं कृत्वा तु कवचं पतेत् नरसिंहो मे शिरः पातु लोकरक्षार्थसम्भव सर्वगोपीस्तम्भवास कालं मे रक्षतु ध्वनिम् नरसिंहो मे दृशौ पातु सोमसूर्याग्निलोचना स्मृतं मे पातु नरहरि मुनिवार्यस्तुतिप्रियः नासं मे सिंहनाशस्तु मुखं लक्ष्मीमुखाप्रिया सर्वविद्याधिपा पातु नरसिंहो मम वक्त्रं पात्विन्दुवदनं सदा प्रह्लादवन्दिता नरसिंह पातु मे कण्ठं स्कन्धो भूभरनान्तकृत् दिव्यास्त्रशोभितो भुज नरसिंह पातु मे भुजौ करौ मे देवा वरदो नरसिंह पातु सर्वदा हृदयं योगी साध्याश्च निवासं पातु मे हरि मध्यं पातु हिरण्याक्ष वक्षा कुक्षिविदारण नाभिं मे पातु नरहरि स्वनाभिब्रह्म संस्तुता ब्रह्माण्डकोटया कट्यां यास्य सौ पातु मे कटिं गुह्यं मे पातु गुह्यानां मन्त्राणां गुह्यरूपधृक् गुरुमनोभव पातु जानुनि नररूपधृक् जाङ्गे पातु धराभार हरता योऽसौ नृकेशरी सूरराजा प्रदपातु पादौ मे नरहेश्वरा सहस्रशीर्षा पुरुषा पातु मे सर्वसत्त्वनुम् अहोग्रः पूर्वता पातु महावीराग्रजोन्निता महाविष्णुर्दक्षिणे तु महाज्वालस्तु नैऋतौ पश्चिमे पातु सर्वेषु दिशि मे सर्वतोमुखा नरसिंह पातु वायव्यां सौम्यं भीषणविग्रहः ईशान्यां पातु भद्रो मे सर्वमङ्गलदायकः संसारभयतः पातु मृत्योर्मृत्योर्निकेशरी इदं नरसिंह कवचं प्रह्लादमुखमण्डितं भक्तिमान् यपते नित्यं सर्वपापैः प्रमुच्यते पुत्रवान् धनवान् लोके दीर्घायुरुपजायते यं यं कामयते कामं तं तं प्राप्नोति असंशयम् सर्वत्र जयमाप्नोति सर्वत्र विजयी भवेत् भूयन्तरिक्षदिव्यानां ग्रहाणां विनिवारणं वृश्चिकरोगसम्भूत विशापाहरणं परं ब्रह्मरक्षास्य यक्षाणां दुरोत्सारणकारणं भुजे वा तालपत्रे वा कवचं लिखितं शुभं करमूले धृतां येन सिद्धेयुः कर्मसिद्धय देवासुर्मनुष्येषु स्वं स्वम् एव जयं लभेत् एकसन्ध्यं त्रिसन्ध्यं वा यापते नियतो नरः सर्वमाङ्गल्यमङ्गल्यं भुक्तिं मुक्तिं च विन्दति द्वात्रिंशतिसहस्राणि पाते छूतात्मभिर्निभिः कवचस्यास्य मन्त्रस्य मन्त्रसिद्धिः प्रजायते अनेन मन्त्रराजेन कृत्वा भस्माभिर्मन्त्रणम् तिलिकं बिभ्रयाद्यस्तु तस्य ग्रहभयं हरेत् त्रिवारं जपमानस्तु दत्तं वर्याभिमन्त्रच्च रशयेद्यं नरं मन्त्रं नरसिंहध्यानमाचरेत् तस्य रोगाः प्रणश्यन्ति ये चक्षुषि सम्भव किमत्र बहुनोक्तेन नरसिंहसदृशो भवेत् मनसा चिन्तितं यत्तु सत्तच्चाप्नोत्यसंशयम् गर्जन्तं गर्जयन्तं निजभुजपटलं श्रोतयन्तं हतन्तं दीप्यान्तं तापयन्तं दिवि भुवि दितिजं क्षेपयन्तं क्षिपन्तं क्रान्तान्तं रोषयन्तं दिशि दिशि सततं संहरन्तं हरन्तं वीक्षान्तं पूरयान्तं करनिकरशतै दिव्यसिंहं नमामि इति श्रीब्रह्माण्डपुराणे प्रह्लादोक्तं Shri Narasingha Kavacham Sampurnam. Shri Lakshmi Nrsimhadev Bhagwan ki jai, Prahlad Maharaj ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Hare Krishna.
So, is Sangini there?
I'm afraid not yet.
No problem, no problem. Pitambar?
Hari Bol.
Great. Would you like to sing?
Yep, definitely. Can you hear me all right?
Perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Thank you. Just 1 second.
So tomorrow we'll have Ananta Vijay Prabhu giving class, so please do join us. And after Nrsinga Aarti, we will chant one round of Mahamantra. So if you have time, please stay with us and we can chant together. Otherwise, please do be safe. We do have a children's session going on after this at 6 o'clock, where we're telling Lord Krishna's pastimes. So if you'd like to join that, of course, you're very welcome to join.
Okay, Prabhu.
Mm-hmm.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Shri Nrsimha, Jai Nrsimha, Jaya Jaya Nrsimha. 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 Praladesa Jaya Padma, Mukhya Padma Bringa. Shri Nrsimha, Jai Nrsimha, Jaya Jaya Nrsimha. Praladesa Jaya Padma, Mukhya Padma Bringa. Shri Nrsimha, Jai Nrsimha, Jaya Jaya Nrsimha. Praladesa Jaya Padma, Mukhya Padma Bringa. Shri Nrsimha, Jai Nrsimha, Jaya Jaya Nrsimha. Praladesa Jaya Padma, Mukhya Padma Bringa. Shri Nrsimha, Jai Nrsimha, Jaya Jaya Nrsimha. Praladesa Jaya Padma, Mukhya Padma Bringa. Shri Nrsimha, Jai Nrsimha, Jaya Jaya Nrsimha. Praladesa Jaya Padma, Mukhya Padma Bringa. Jai Nrsimha, Jai Nrsimha, Jaya Jai Nrsimha Dev. Praladesa Jaya Padma, Mukhya Padma Bringa. Jai Nrsimha, Jai Nrsimha, Jaya Jai Nrsimha. Praladesa Jaya Padma, Mukhya Padma Bringa. Jai Nrsimha, Jai Nrsimha, Jaya Jai Nrsimha. Praladesa Jaya Padma, Mukhya Padma Bringa. Jai Nrsimha, Jai Nrsimha, Jaya Jaya Nrsimha. Praladesa Jaya Padma, Mukhya Padma Bringa. Jai Nrsimha, Jai Narasimha, Jaya Jai Narasimha, Praladesa, Jaya Padma, Mukhya Padma, Bringa.
Very nice. Very good.
Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Lad lad daine. Lad lad daine. Hiranyakashi Purvakshaya. Hiranyakashi Purvakshaya. Sila Talaka
Hare Krishna, I lost you.
Sila Talaka Eto Narsinho Bharato Narsinho Eto Narsinho Bharato Narsinho Yatu Yatu Yamitato Narsinho Yatu Yatu Yamitato Narsinho He Narsinho Hirate Narsinho He Narsinho Hirate Narsinho Narsim Mamadeng Sharana Prapade Narsim Mamadeng Sharana Prapade Vakara Kamala Vare Nakhamaruta Shringa Talita Hiranyakashipo Tanubringa Keshadareheta Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Re Jaya Jagadisha Re Jaya Jagadisha Re Avakara Kamala Vare Kalita
Hiranyakashipu
Shadareta Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Re Jaya Jagadisha Re
Jaya Jagadisha
Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Re Jaya Jagadisha Re Jaya Jagadisha Re
Keshavadeta Narahari Rupa
Jaya Jagadisha Re Jaya Jagadisha
Jaya Jagadisha
Jaya Narsinga Dev 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 Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jai Ho Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Jaya Guru Maharaj